Pat McAfee steals the WWE title, Oba Femi promises to slay the beast, and I share my thoughts and feelings leading into WrestleMania weekend. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE, What Mattered. SmackDown opened with General Manager Nick Aldis telling Cody Rhodes that he is under strict orders from above, that he is not able to lay a single hand on Pat McAfee. Alexa Bliss defeated Bayley with a roll-up, taking advantage of her squabbling with Charlotte Flair, who was on the outside. This match featured plenty of taunting ahead of the fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles at WrestleMania. Two matches were made on the night via backstage segments as Lil Yachty talked Trick Williams into a match with Matt Cardona, and Tama Tonga was volunteered by Solo Sikoa to take on Jacob Fatu. I know this is a typical pro wrestling trope, but this happens far too often for me. I don't think matches should be made on the night every single week, let alone multiple in one show. But that's just what it feels like happens on WWE TV these days. We were then shown a video package for Royce Keys, who has not been seen on WWE television since making his debut at the Royal Rumble, which provided some insight into his difficult upbringing and his passion for wrestling. Keys then made his long-awaited SmackDown debut, defeating Berto in a dominant performance, pinning him following a spinebuster. Pat McAfee then cut a promo on CM Punk, taking shots at him for wearing WWE official licensed gear, whilst wearing a WWE officially licensed shirt. Great. He also mocked Punk's apology to the country of Saudi Arabia. He then shared with the audience that he managed to strike a deal so that WrestleMania Saturday tickets are 25% off from now during SmackDown until Monday Night Raw. The undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes then confronted Pat, knowing that he couldn't lay a finger on him, called him a play wrestler and told him to go home. Pat acknowledged this by saying that if Cody wins at WrestleMania, he will never see or hear from Pat McAfee ever again. Randy Orton then dragged a beaten Jelly Roll out onto the entrance ramp, which ultimately led to both Randy and Pat beating down Cody, and Pat stole the WWE Championship, walking out of the arena with it draped over his shoulder. I just can't get past why Randy Orton would enlist the help of Pat McAfee of all people. Randy is a 14-time world champion and undoubtedly one of the greatest to ever do it. In kayfabe, Pat is literally just a commentator who has shown courage in the past and stood up for his friends, like when he stood up for Michael Cole against Gunther. I'm wanting to give this a chance. I'm really wanting to see if this goes somewhere good, and it still might do, but the whole injection of Pat McAfee into this feud literally weeks before WrestleMania, particularly when there is such a strong history between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, has really cooled off my excitement for this match. Drew McIntyre viciously beat Jacob Fatu following his victory over Tama Tonga, and this included whipping him across the body with a belt whilst Fatu's arms were handcuffed behind his back. United States champion Sami Zayn then cut a promo acknowledging the boos in the arena, but saying that he will never betray himself. This felt like a desperate babyface really trying to cut a promo to connect with the audience, but the majority of the audience just weren't having it. The way I see this is just them clearly telegraphing Sami's inevitable heel turn at WrestleMania, because he's going to look like such an absolute utter hypocrite when he does the complete opposite of what he's just said, when he takes advantage of a situation or cheats or whatever it may be to retain his title against Trick. Trick Williams then defeated Matt Cardona, despite the fact he was distracted at one point by Sami Zayn hitting a haluva kick on Lil Yachty against the barricade on the outside of the ring. Danhausen finally wrestled and made his official WWE debut by defeating Kit Wilson thanks to a curse. Kit was on the top rope and some rogue pyro went off right behind him, which allowed Danhausen to take advantage and pick up the victory. He's still such an entertaining part of WWE and genuinely one of the best things about the product right now. WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill took on Io Sky in the main event of SmackDown, with her WrestleMania opponent Rhea Ripley having already taken out B-Fab and Michin throughout the night. Despite this, Jade still did pick up the win against Io, who was still reeling from the kendo stick attack on Raw. Just before I move on to Monday Night Raw, if you have enjoyed this video so far, please subscribe to the channel and do absolutely anything you can to support me, whether that's liking this video, joining in the conversation on the comment section, or just checking out some of my other content. Monday Night Raw began with Brock Lesnar finally signing the contract for his WrestleMania match against Oba Femi, with the plan that Oba was going to sign himself separately later in the evening. When Oba did go out to sign the contract later that night, Paul Heyman really put him over by saying what a huge star he's become in such a short period of time and how violent he is. But the problem is that all of that is going to come crashing down at WrestleMania. Oba retorted with a really strong promo where he had to pause a couple of times due to the whole arena chanting his name, where he stated that Brock is afraid of him and that at WrestleMania he is going to slay the Beast. Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer then entered the arena for her scheduled in-ring interview with Kathy Kelly, but she was jumped by her WrestleMania opponent Liv Morgan before the interview could even begin. The two brawled once again before being separated by security, and Liv Morgan seemed absolutely deranged here. She seemed crazy and obsessed with beating down Stephanie Vaquer. This is definitely one of the most anticipated matches for me at WrestleMania this year. I think it's been built really, really well. As you can imagine, there were quite a few more matches and segments, but to be totally honest with you, it just felt a little bit paint by numbers. Considering this is the go-home Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania, it was actually quite boring apart from the odd spot here or there. So I'll jump right to the end, which was actually very entertaining, where we saw Roman Reigns and CM Punk go one-on-one again on the microphone. CM Punk was extremely honest about why he hates Roman Reigns. He hates that Roman has been so successful, and he hates that he knows how hard Roman had to work to be that successful. He also admitted that he's envious of Roman for being born into a dynasty. In a similar fashion, Roman was very honest and also admitted that he is jealous of CM Punk for the relationship that he has with the WWE Universe, and hopes that one day when he leaves that they will chant his name for 10 years just like they did for Punk. I enjoyed this back and forth on the microphone, and I'm definitely looking forward to Roman versus Punk at WrestleMania. But overall, I don't want to sound like a downer, but it's WrestleMania week. WrestleMania is this weekend, and I'm just not that excited for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going into this thinking it's going to be an awful show and I don't want to watch it. You know, I would never miss WrestleMania for the world. I'm looking forward to spending 2 late nights with my best mate and watching some good wrestling. But I really don't think the build to WrestleMania 42 has been very good at all, and I think that's the case for a mixture of reasons. As I've already discussed recently, we've had the whole Pat McAfee insertion into the Cody and Randy feud. That just feels odd and bizarre. I think if they were going to go down this direction, they should have done it much earlier to give it time to actually get some heat and some momentum with the fans. But considering Randy didn't get this opportunity until he won the Elimination Chamber match, I still don't think that would have been early enough to get this over. The only 2 matches for me at WrestleMania that really feel like a big deal are Brock Lesnar against Oba Femi, which, as I've said before, has been built absolutely perfectly. It's a massively anticipated match. I think they've built this extremely well. And also Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I don't think it's been built perfectly, but I think it's been built strongly. Don't get me wrong, it could have been better, but especially on the weeks when both men have been on television leading up to WrestleMania, it's been really entertaining. I've liked the inclusion of the Usos as well. And as I've just said, it was really refreshing to see both men be so honest with their hatred towards one another this week on Raw. Both Women's World Champions have had really lackluster reigns, and it's not their fault, it's just the booking. I think Stephanie and Liv has been built really well, but the title almost just feels irrelevant. I've almost forgotten the fact that they're fighting for the Women's World Championship, but thankfully they've done a really good job at crafting a personal rivalry between Steph and Liv. Whereas with Jade and Rhea, I just don't really feel like they've got that chemistry there. Everyone is sick to death of Jade Cargill. Her reign has been awful. I love Rhea Ripley, but I just don't think she's got that chemistry with Jade Cargill, like I just said. The introduction of B-Fab and Meechin aligning with Jade added a little bit of interest, but just not enough to make this feel like the big match that it really feels like it should. Looking back at the most recent WrestleManias, you got WrestleMania 39, which felt like an absolutely massive deal. WrestleMania Hollywood, Cody trying to finish his story, Roman Reigns on his historic run, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning the Undisputed Tag Titles in the main event. That whole event felt like WrestleMania. I remember the excitement building that week, and Cody and Roman really had that big fight feel. Then you've got WrestleMania 40, which I could talk about for absolutely hours. I think that is the best build to a WrestleMania we have ever seen, certainly in my lifetime. And then WrestleMania 41, although some people may think that that build wasn't very good, I was hugely invested, mostly because of John Cena, my favourite, my GOAT, the Never Seen 17, going for his 17th World Championship. I was so invested in that, regardless of what you thought of the heel turn, the heel run, any of that stuff. I didn't care. I was cheering for my GOAT to win number 17, so I was so invested in that WrestleMania. And let's not forget, the triple threat main event on night 1 between Roman Reigns, CM Punk and Seth Rollins was built extremely well too. But we're talking about this year. It's WrestleMania this weekend, and I'm just not that excited for it. I don't really know how else to say it. Like I said, I wouldn't miss the show for the world, but I don't feel like this is a must-see event, something I'm really excited for. There's these marquee matches that I cannot wait to see. I'm thinking of WrestleMania this year, and I'm thinking Roman and Punk's going to be really good. I can't wait to see Brock and Oba smash the crap out of each other, and Liv and Stephanie should be really entertaining. Everything else either feels forgettable, paint by numbers, or just an afterthought. And I don't think this is exclusively a WrestleMania problem. I've definitely seen this over the last 6 to 9 months from WWE, where it feels like they've got so many shows now, they're almost forgetting about ones that are only a month or a month and a half away because they've got to build to a Saturday night's main event in between. And yeah, you could say there are too many shows now, and I may well agree with you there, especially with the amount of Saturday night's main events that we get throughout the year. But I don't think that's a good enough excuse for a company like WWE. They seem almost unable to build to more than one show at the same time. It's almost like they think their audience won't be able to understand if they're building to 2 shows simultaneously. But for me, I'm like, if you've got a Saturday night's main event, and then you've got, let's say, a Survivor Series 2 weeks after that, you should be building to both of those shows. You shouldn't wait to build Survivor Series until that 2-week window after Saturday night's main event and before Survivor Series, because it just makes you think that PLE is just, we'll watch it, but it's not that important. But anyway, that's my rant over. I don't think I was expecting to talk all this long about it, to be honest. I'm still going to watch WrestleMania, and I'm sure I'm still going to enjoy WrestleMania. I don't think it's going to be a bad show. I'm not sat here being a massive cynic thinking this is going to be terrible. I'm going to regret watching this and I really shouldn't stay up for it, no. On the day, on Saturday, I will be excited. On Sunday, I will be excited. I just feel like the build to this show has been really lacklustre compared to recent years. But if you do want to see what happens at WrestleMania, I will be posting WWE PLE recap videos of both Night 1 and Night 2 of WrestleMania, and these will be posted around 24 hours after the show has aired. In these videos, I'm going to go through each and every match on the card, what happened, the result, and of course, my personal thoughts and feelings on it too. So if you're not going to tune into WrestleMania, but you do want to know what happens, head over to my channel a day after both nights, and you'll be able to see me cover it in detail. That'll do it for this week, guys. I appreciate you for watching this video. I would really appreciate it if you went over to my channel and checked out some of my other content. I'm posting monthly Replica belt review videos, and the first one went out last week, which was the WWE Spinner Championship belt. I've got an unboxing video of my most recent Replica belt, which is the United States Spinner Championship, and I've also got a video about when I went to John Cena's final ever match at Saturday night's main event in December last year. So if the sound of any of that piques your interest, please do head over and check out those videos. But until next time, see you later.